Palm Springs, from Pennsylvania. Oh, two from Pennsylvania. Good morning.
Good morning.
Semi-close people and nice weathered people. Sorry for the delay, but
It's storming.
Yeah, it's storming, and sometimes that kicks our Wi-Fi out. So took us a minute to get here, but we are here.
Thank you guys for the likes already. 21 people, 9 likes. Just started like 27 seconds in. Heck yeah.
Makes a good day.
Well, we were thinking of what topic we were going to talk about this morning, and we decided we were going to talk about what not to do and things that we stopped doing as we got better at reselling, whether that's efficiency wise or just mental health wise or things that increase profits, and just talk real quick about a few things that we stop doing versus what we are doing. Because sometimes I think things you quit doing are more beneficial than things you start doing. If you guys, good morning. If you guys have any questions about anything, please put them in the comments. We are a little short on time, so we are going to end at 9:30 today. I say that every time, and then it seems like we go to an hour.
Well, we have plans of leaving and going sourcing. We came in, shipping's done, we're ready to go for the day, and we
have a Zoom meeting too.
So yes,
I do have to be done pretty.
She has a Zoom meeting for other things in her life, but I'm going sourcing today, and it's pouring outside, so I'm not super excited about going sourcing in the rain. And I wear flip flops, so there's that. But I'm going to meet some really nice lady this morning for some clothes, and then I think I'm going to go hit my favorite coffee shop, and I thought about finishing up with my favorite ice cream today, because I just feel like I need it, so that's what I'm doing. Please like and share so these girls can continue to bring us good info. Thank you, Lisa. That's so nice of you. I always like seeing you guys shout things out, too, because it makes my heart happy, so we appreciate you.
So as we get started and as we're starting to talk about things that we quit doing, why don't you guys, if you think of something, put it in the comments, things that you stopped doing, or one thing that you stopped doing that was super beneficial to your business, because there's probably things that we have not even thought of.
Probably.
That, it's the simplest things sometimes that you don't think about, but then somebody says it and you're like, wait a minute, why haven't I been doing this my entire life? So put some things in the comments. If you guys think of anything, we'll help each other out, and we might be able to adopt some of your ideas from your reselling business into ours. So
sometimes we overthink things too. Like if you haven't seen the video of us with I think it was either a day in the life at the office or whatever, but literally for months I was taking pieces of paper and cutting them in fours and then taking tape and taping one to each box. And at no point did I ever think about the fact that you literally, sorry, turn my volume off. You literally can just slap a label. We have printing labels to put on the box, and it hit us one day and we're like, what the heck have we been doing? We've wasted so much time by just not literally just using what we had. So it's stuff like that that gets you where you're like, well, I could have saved myself hours. So
yes, it's the little things, especially when you are listing so much every single week. Those seconds really add up.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning from Connecticut and Tennessee. Bugsy said, stop spending time community sharing on Poshmark.
Oh, yes. That is such a good one. That is, when you first get on Poshmark, they really promote you doing all of these things that really do not benefit your business. And while it feels good and it's nice to have a sense of community, if you're in it for the business, if you're not just selling from your home, you can waste a lot of time. Doing that, and follows too. That is a really good one. The one I think about the most, and I caught myself doing that this weekend, was I went onto my eBay selling app and I went to selling in my active listings, and I was just kind of scrolling to make sure that our listings that were scheduled became active that morning. So I was scrolling my most recently listed things, and I caught myself doing something that I used to do a long time ago, which was, I'm gonna see how many views or what items have watchers. And I was like, scrolling through, wasting time. Like, I wonder what items have watchers this quick, or what people are interested in, or how many views that they're getting. And that is something I used to do. I'm not even kidding you. Multiple times a day, I would obsess over how many views or how many likes or how many watchers an item was getting. And it really does not matter. I mean, we have people buy stuff that have no watchers on them, that have no likes on them. So I caught myself doing that again, and it reminded me of the old days, and I thought I would bring it up on this live, that if you are new to reselling, it is very, very easy to fall into a trap of constantly monitoring, which monitoring can be a good thing. But when it comes to likes and views, most of the time, in my opinion, it doesn't matter, because things that have 5 views could sell, things that have no watchers can sell. And it really just depends on, is the right buyer for that item online, and are they shopping? So if you're currently doing that, think about how much time you might be spending constantly doing that every day, and also just your mental space. What else could you be doing, or what else could you be thinking about benefiting your business by not doing that?
This is really side noted, but I'm going to tell you what my thing is. Actually, I'm going to show you this first. So as I was sitting here, I was just writing down our SKU labels, and this is what we sold.
That's like almost 60, isn't it?
Yeah, like that's, you can't see the numbers or the numbers that are on there, but this is the amount of items that I shipped out this morning already. So I was like,
that had SKUs.
Yeah, that had SKUs.
There's more without SKUs.
There's some that were like bulk things that were hanging, or in our bulk bins that we don't put labels on. Shoes, things like that, we don't put labels on. But this is just from this morning. So sorry, I had to show you because I was very excited. But things that I do or don't do now that I used to do. You guys might be able to hear the rain. Hopefully we don't lose Wi-Fi again. I don't know. Maybe
I have a whole list
of things I do.
No. I was things that I stopped doing. I didn't know if you thought of any.
I don't know. I'm pretty meticulous. I would say a lot of the things that I do, I probably still do. But I can tell you one. So I used to, when I put things in boxes, I had to put them in perfect order of like 3801, 3802, 3803. And I wasted so much time doing that I just like toss them in the bin now. Like, I'm only looking through 20 items. Most times there's only so many red or so many black or whatever that looks like. So like now I just run through them and toss them in.
I think just overall perfectionism
is
a big
huge one. And I have to remind myself that, like, yes, I want every photo to look perfect. Yes, I want every item to be put away perfectly. Yes, I want the office to be perfect. But it's not going to happen that way as far as, like, being efficient. So I think I've kind of gone for, like, great but not excellent is my new kind of goal. I want things to be good but not perfect.
I'm a perfectionist at heart. And it really, and I think Nikki is too, but it's really taken a long time to reel it back in and just say, you know what? Oh, someone said, wow, it's pouring over there. Yeah.
Can you hear it?
Hear it?
Ah.
It is.
Literally, we were sitting here earlier and we like had everything set up, and all of a sudden it was like, just like massive thunder. And we just looked at each other like,
yeah. Nikki's probably hoping it quits by the time she goes sourcing.
I bought myself a rain jacket while I was thrifting. I brought my umbrella. My feet are going to be drenched, but at a certain point I'm just going to take my shoes off and run and call it good. So we do have lots of questions. So I'm going to stop Cayley for a second.
Let's skip the questions and go through the comments really quick of what people's. I just want to make sure we get through a few of them before we move on to questions.
Hold on. I started getting up at 6 a.m. every day, so I have a long day to get everything done each day.
Good one.
That is good.
Set schedule.
I convinced myself my items were worth gold. Then it dawned on me, would I pay XXX for this item if someone else was selling it? Live and learn. That is true too. So like, I guess I would do that, where I would get hung up on an item where I'm like, this is what it's marked for, and I didn't want to like take lesser offers. I'm gonna wrap myself out. But Cayley, this weekend we had a Todd Snyder top, and it was marked $60 on Poshmark, and she accepted an offer for $40, and I legitimately threw my phone in the bathroom because I was like, what are you doing? You didn't even counter. But then I'm like, we paid $4.99. Why the freak do you care?
Paid $4.99. We've probably been sitting on it for a couple of months.
It was new, which is why I was mad. But
sometimes you just want to get the algorithm going. Or you're in a good mood and you accept offers.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing? But
someone said thermal is the way to go.
That was one of the questions, was thermal printers.
Oh.
Speaking of labels, have you guys considered getting a thermal printer? I love not having to worry about ink. And then they said thermal is the way to go.
Yeah, so someone said I got my Dymo, used it on Mercari, $100, so worth it in ink and time. So that is one that I would also say as a beginner, if you're printing, or maybe you're not even printing from home. I think let's start with you're not even printing your labels from home. You're going into the post office, you're paying commercial rates, and you're spending a ton of time having to do that. So just printing your labels at home makes a tremendous difference on time and money because you're saving money with the commercial rate. Now, fast forward to having a thermal printer versus an ink printer does save you so much time, and having those sticky labels versus having to cut out paper and tape it makes a huge difference. So I'm glad somebody mentioned that. So I just want to say, because I think a lot of people get confused, we have a thermal printer. Mm-hmm. We print on, it's like a Samsung M2020 printer. And we use sheets like a full-size paper with 2 sticky labels on it. A lot of people think that a thermal printer is a Dymo or a, what are the other ones? Oh, shoot. You guys let me know in the comments. I don't remember what that other brand is. There's many brands, but Dymo is the one I think of, Rollo. Dymo and Rollo are 2 that are really big. And those are label printers. They're thermal label printers. There's just also
thank you DB Donut.
Thank you DB Donut for the super chat. You guys are amazing. Actually, it's a super sticker. I learned the difference in those recently. You see it, the little guy.
Oh, I see him. He went.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
So I just want to be clear, because I think a lot of people get confused, is that a thermal printer and a thermal label printer are different things, but we do use a thermal printer, which I'm not an expert, but I believe a thermal printer uses heat and it uses toner and heat to apply it to the paper, and that's what causes it to
mark. Don't look at me, I'm not the
versus ink. But if you're not already using a thermal printer, it prints a lot quicker, and you're not spending money on ink, just toner, and that does make a huge difference. To the people and person that keep asking if we're going to get a thermal printer, I think what they mean is, are we going to get a label printer? I'm going to be honest, I prefer not using a label printer, and here's why. Because they're so specific on the kind of paper that you have to get, and they can jam really easily, and it's really easy for me sorry if you guys can hear that, if our regular thermal printer for some reason stops working, it's really easy for me to replace it. If we run out of labels, I can easily go to the store and get paper and make it work for the day, or I can get shipping labels and make it work for the day. If I have a label printer, although it is slightly more convenient, I cannot easily replace it. And so for that reason, that is why we continue using a regular thermal printer.
Somebody said stop cross-posting to Mercari, Depop, Grailed, etc. platforms that were requiring different formatting, numbers of photos, shipping, titles, etc. We stopped doing Mercari like mid last year, and it was kind of game changing for us. It wouldn't be as difficult now, I think, to cross post, especially with using
it back.
List perfectly. But we definitely wanted to narrow down before we really, and kind of get those processes done before we decided to kind of add on to that.
It does take a lot of time to cross post. We 100% advocate for cross posting. We just suggest that you master one platform before moving on to the next one, and that is not to discourage anyone from making more sales, because you probably will make more sales if you start cross posting, but it is in the long run going to be more beneficial for your business to focus on one thing before moving on to the other.
Yes, I can hear it. It sounds
the rain
awful.
Sounds wonderful. Yeah. Someone said.
Oh, did I miss? Oh, the rain sounds wonderful. Wish some of that would come to California. I guess I never thought of that. You guys probably don't get it. We have had nothing but rain, and like, I'm not even kidding you. This weekend, I looked out and it was like 50, and it was like, oh, it's such a beautiful day. The sun's shining, and I looked out like 2 hours later, and it was sleeting and snowing, and I was like,
Yeah, it's been hailing this past weekend. It was like 50 something degrees and hailing this past weekend. What the heck?
I was like, what the heck is up with Ohio? But whatever. Let's see. Listen to your body and work when you are more productive. That's a good one. If you're a night owl, I'm kind of a night owl. I guess it's like a legitimate thing. There's like a sleep disorder where you stay up late even though you like know you're gonna hate yourself in the morning because you're more productive.
Common with moms too.
Yeah,
to
it's
have
just like
time to yourself.
Yeah, the only time that like my kids are asleep and my husband's in bed and I can just like sit and just in peace and quiet. Sometimes I sit in my car too. But
that's a great tip. Is working when you're most productive because. Everybody's different. Some people work better when it's daylight out. Some people love getting up early in the morning and they thrive on that. So 100% agree with that.
All right, give me just a second. I'm going to scroll back here and see if I'm missing anything. Do you guys mostly source from the bins now? I find for my time, I only go to the bins now. I almost stopped going to other thrift stores. We go to the bins when we need to like bulk up or if we've had a not so great week. That being said, we have been hitting it like once to two times a week. Mm-hmm. Only because the thrift stores that we were going to, we weren't getting as much as what we usually were. So we have kind of a route that we follow based on each day and kind of where we want to go. And then we had what we called a flex day. So the flex day we would take to go to, a couple other like everyday thrift stores as well. If we had a good week, because we know we probably won't get a lot there, but we get some decent quality stuff, some like higher end items. But if we know that like, say we've gotten clear through Wednesday, we've sourced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we aren't going to have enough to get us where we need to be, we'll kind of use that flex day as a bins day instead. So 2 days a week.
So no, not completely bins. If we had it our way, we wouldn't go to the bins at all. We prefer what we call princess shopping, which is shopping at regular thrift stores. But especially in the summer, I just find that it's really dry. There's not a lot of, I don't want to say it, but substantial pieces. People are laughing at us because we say substantial so much. It's like a ding word for us. But honestly,
they're not higher priced items. You think winter you have coats and a lot of things like that. And winter in summer the most expensive things you have are typically jeans or maybe like a special dress. But those are more of kind of one-offs versus everyday things like
you lose a lot of our good
sweaters.
Categories.
Yeah, sweaters and things like that. So we
supplement. Well, you'll probably see a lot more of us binsing it up during the warmer weather and then spending a lot more time at regular thrift stores when it's cold out. Hey, really quick before we move on to the next question, we have 70 people watching. We almost hit 100 last week. We got 99. To 99 people. That was crazy. But we have 70 people watching and 32 likes. If you guys could take a second, literally 1 to 2 seconds, and just hit the like button for us, we'd really appreciate it. It helps with the channel and it promotes this video to more people. And we really appreciate that.
Angie, if you go to the bins and you see us, we're not going to shout out where we go. We're not going to talk about which bins it is. So please don't put that in the chat because people have started to find us, which is great.
A lot of people.
But it's also very off-catching. So if you see us, feel free to come say hello.
We're pretty nice.
We are nice people. I have to learn more, though, to stop openly talking in the bins because I've learned that people hear things I might not want them to hear. But if you see us, come shout out and say hey.
Yes, please.
I just had a question here. Oh, how do you answer questions that are already answered in the listing, like material, content, or measurements? You got this, bro.
Yeah. I'm gonna speed around and answer these two because I know we're getting close to time. We just answer them, guys. That's actually something I have in my notes. Something I quit doing is getting upset with buyers about returns, about stupid questions, about lowball offers. It just takes up so much mental space, especially when you're at this scale now where we're listing so much all the time that we don't have the time to stop and get upset about something. We just move on. And after so many years of doing this, I just realized it's the cost of doing business. So I just understand that people are not going to read everything, but it's been really easy for us, which I think there's a question later on about if we put measurements in the photos, but we put all that stuff in the photos and into the listing. So if someone does ask a stupid question that's already answered in the listing, it's really easy for us without having to grab the item again to just look at the listing and quickly answer them. And it only takes like 5 to 10 seconds to do that. Those seconds do add up. I'm not gonna lie, but the people that aren't willing to look into the listing, there's just so many people that are going to do that, but sometimes answering them leads to sales, so we just go ahead and do it. And then I also remind myself, if it's on a platform like Poshmark and you're answering that publicly on your listing, that's going to help other buyers who might also not look at the listing, and they're going to go down to leave a comment and they're going to see, okay, they've already answered that question. So it's just the cost of doing business. It is frustrating, I'm not going to lie. We get really annoyed sometimes, but less annoyed now, and we just kind of move on.
Do you add measurements to the photos? That is something that we do. If you check out any of our listings, you'll see those. Pretty much everything a customer could ask questions on, we try to put in the listing from the get-go. I mean, whether it's actually spelled out or in photos. The other cool thing about that is if we're out and we're sourcing, we can answer those questions while we're out and about. So, you know, even if you're getting frustrated by those people, those questions or those answers are already there. You pull up the app, you look at the photos, the measurements are blah, 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 the material is blah, 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 so on and so forth.
If you're curious about the measurements in the photos, I do have a video about my photography process. So if you search that, you'll be able to see that, and it kind of shows you how we lay a tape measure over top of a table, lay the garment over measuring tape, and then we're able to take a photo of that so that it's captured within the listing. Sorry, Nikki had to step out for a second. Let me see here. And let's see. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, the weather, sorry, the weather is pretty bad right now. Someone said, I'm a big fan. I never miss any of your videos. Thank you guys so much. So I have noticed some of my listings have gone missing. Have you experienced this? If so, how do you fix the issue? So, are you talking about on eBay or on Poshmark? I'm assuming you're talking about on eBay, because on eBay, listings tend to disappear. We've talked about when we've done a full inventory, how we catch things that are no longer listed. A lot of the times, sometimes I can't explain it, but most of the time it's because a buyer committed to buying the item but never finished paying, and it gets kind of lost in limbo where it never gets relisted. That's most of the time. Other times it's because a return happens and then it doesn't get relisted after the return. So I would just suggest that you go through pretty frequently and just make sure you're processing your returns correctly. Make sure that if a buyer has not paid for an item, make sure it is actually getting relisted, and that can really help to get those items back. Most of the time it's explainable, sometimes it is not, and that's also why we do a full inventory at least once a year. We've started doing it twice a year, and I think, to be honest with you, at the scale we're at, we're gonna have to start doing it quarterly to find those items that are falling off. So you're not alone in that. There's definitely a lot of things that happen on eBay that are unexplainable, but I would look, because I would check like your unsolds and your solds and search that item. And as long as it's within 90 days, you'll be able to see it and figure out what happens. Sometimes cancellations happen too.
Yeah, and I did inventory like last August, I believe. It was like right before we moved stuff to the new system. And as I think we kind of told you guys on the last video, that we were switching to the number system. Because of the number system, we've kind of had to have been going through inventory at the same time. So that being said, you know, if we have a tote that's marked A and now we're converting A into numbers, we were pulling that inventory sheet. I don't know if you said this or not, but we were pulling the inventory sheet with everything it was supposed to be in A and going through those items and switching them over. So we were able to see if there were things that were in A that weren't supposed to be, that weren't listed anymore, or, you know, items that should have been in there that maybe were previously sold on another platform that we missed. So
yeah, sorry, I'm seeing questions and statements that I missed. If I missed your question and it was from like a few minutes ago, put it back in, because this chat is moving very quickly, guys. Someone said, my children brought me a thermo printer from Easter. It'll come tomorrow. Congratulations. Yay! That's fun.
Happy Easter.
Someone said, I'll let you answer this and then I'll answer, but I have a feeling that our answer is going to be the same. Question, has consistency been truly the key to your success in this business?
Yes. Huge. So, I mean, obviously, I've been here for a year. Just hit my year anniversary. Woo!
Yeah.
But that being said, I think when we started, we were trying our best to kind of get things going and being consistent and so on and so forth. But we were still kind of battling with it. Now that we are for sure at 140 listings each week, and we kind of see what that looks like
every single day.
Yep, it helps. I wouldn't necessarily, I think I said this last time, I wouldn't necessarily say the amount matters, but I would say having consistent activity, answering questions every day, having new listings every day does make a difference. Not necessarily set 20.
No, just being consistent. It really has. There's just something about doing the same thing every day that, I mean, it's just, to me, it's like consistent listing equals consistent sales. Intermittent listing leads to intermittent sales. So whatever, you're doing, if you do it consistently, your results are going to follow consistently. So I absolutely think, without going into a ton of detail, about the consistency question, absolutely, yes, that has been the biggest difference. And then also, I would just tack onto that, eliminating processes, which is where we're kind of at right now, is the next step in our business, is how do we get to the result in the shortest amount of time with the least amount of mental capacity and stress, and how do we simplify things so that when we hire people on or we promote people within the business, that everything is simple, streamlined, and there's not 100 different processes as we go.
I think you talked about this experience and things missing about Poshmark and cross-posting back. Did you talk about that? When things go missing on eBay?
Yeah, we just talked about the inventory process. And
well, so I might tell you this twice because I don't know if she said it or not, but you can also, first thing I do if something's missing is I go to like Poshmark and see if I have it listed somewhere else that I can list perfectly to cross-post it back over to eBay. Yeah. So that's another option as well.
I'm not sure if they cross-post or not.
Yeah, if you do or you don't. But I'm just saying that's another thing is if you have something that's on multiple platforms, you can use it to relay it over from one place to the other.
Yeah, that's a good point. List Perfectly's really helped with that too, because it acts as kind of a... Oh my God.
As a backup plan, which is good. So that's always a good option.
I definitely think that. Sorry, guys, gotta remove a comment. Someone asked, you'd have to do that on my phone. Someone asked do we ever feel followed by thrift stores? And no, I don't think that the workers really follow us around. I honestly, probably not within the last year have we ever felt like they follow us around.
Yeah, I don't think employees necessarily bother me. I have gone, oh, thank you, Perry.
Thank you, Perry.
I have gone to a couple stores that I don't feel comfortable in necessarily being in alone.
I'm going to get some water.
Go to some like ritzy, nice neighborhoods, but we also go to some not so nice neighborhoods. That being said, there are some stores that Cayley and I don't source alone just because it is a not so great area. But that being said, I don't know that I've ever felt followed. We do, like I said, if anywhere, it's channel subscribers in the bins that are like, hey Cayley, hey Nikki, and we're like, how do you know who we are? And then it hits us and we laugh, but
I usually think it's other shoppers that kind of just look at you and they're like, what are you doing?
But everybody always thinks I work everywhere we go. So like every place I am, people are always like, hey, what does this dress look like on me or whatever. But like, honestly, I thrive with that because I like being people's hype person and I really enjoy it. So
yeah, if you're being followed, I mean, I have heard horror stories of people like the employees being rude or the post office being rude to you. because you're a reseller, but like at the end of the day, you're not doing anything illegal, so I just move on. Or maybe you should talk to them. Maybe they're just curious.
So I'm gonna comment this sew and thrift talking about the bins walking in. People can be very rude. There is a specific person at our bins. I'm not gonna say their name, but we do not jive well together. And I get along with most people. I mean, I have my moments. I'm not gonna say I'm like great all the time. But there's like a few things that I don't handle well, and it's ignorance and people who bully other people. I can't mentally do it. And we had an instance with that at our bins last week. And I told Cayley I needed to leave because I was going to get myself in trouble. But that being said, like, it does happen occasionally. I just kind of go in, put headphones in, and stick to ourselves. And the best thing that you can do, I think, is just go in, be focused, be aware, no matter where you are, be aware of your surroundings. And if you feel like you're getting in over your head, it's totally okay to say, okay, I'm going to try this for an hour and I'm going to go home, or get a buddy. We actually had one person reach out to us originally through the YouTube channel and say, hey, like, I'm really interested in going to the bins, but I don't know that I feel comfortable going by myself. Can we like arrange a day where we go together? We'll leave you alone. We won't talk to you, but like, I need to know I have somebody else there in case I need to. So maybe get a buddy on the channel here that you can meet up with and say, hey, like, all right, guys, we're going to go to the bins on Monday, or we're going to go to the bins on Tuesday. Anybody who doesn't really feel comfortable going, do you guys all want to meet up at the same time? And that way you at least have somebody you may have interacted with that you can go with and feel safe with. Or take a parent or a friend or coworker, spouse, whatever you need to do to make yourself feel comfortable the first time.
It's really nerve-wracking at first going to the bins, for sure.
And if you get there and you need help, come find me.
We are past our time, so we're going to take the last comment from Sew and Thrift, and then we are going to blast through the rest of these. Someone asked about sales tax question on your listing on eBay. What do you put there? eBay handles most of the sales tax for most states for you, so we don't touch that. But I know that there are some states that you need to manually collect and remit. I'm not familiar with the laws for those states, so you would just want to look up the law for your state and whether you need to collect and remit. But eBay takes care of most of that, so we just kind of leave that blank and move on.
There's really only one other question. It says, how does your family, friends feel about you guys reselling? Also, have you been told that you're stealing from the poor? I don't mind saying that I'm a reseller, but some people view it wrong. That was my first thought when I started, is like, I didn't know how to tell people what we were doing in like the most effective way, I guess, and it not come off the wrong way. Here's the way I've kind of worded it for people is, it's very, like, if you don't buy it, it's going to go into the dumpster. Like, I literally went to the bins one day and took a picture, and I was like, look at all of the stuff that ends up here. If I don't buy it, either somebody else is going to, or worse, if nobody buys it, this is where it's going to end up. If nobody buys it here, then it's just going to go to a landfill. Like,
yeah,
people, I think, view it a little bit differently that way. I'm not going to say I've never had anybody be like, what do you mean you sell used clothing online? But at the end of the day, I think that who really cares? Like, their opinions don't make your money. So
pay the bills. I think we also, I don't know if it was last live or if it was the live before that, but someone kind of asked if people, when we first started reselling, were friends and family were hesitant. We dove a little deeper into that, so I'd go back and watch that video. They also asked if we've ever had anyone tell us that we're stealing from the poor. The only time that I've had that happen, not only time, but there's been a couple times, but it's all been on YouTube. It's been people coming on to videos.
Or on listings.
Oh yeah, and on listings. And so it's never been in person that I've had that happen. And I think the way of the world, we're just moving towards a more sustainable planet. So thrifting's become a lot more, it's less taboo than it used to be. You know, everybody thrifts now. That's something that teenagers go do on the weekends together. Everybody's trying to find the next find. So yeah, I don't think it's as taboo as it used to be, and who really cares? Because like Nikki said, they don't pay your bills.
Yeah. One person made a comment about the store managers paying attention to what you buy and regularly increasing those. If that's the case, it does suck. But here's the other thing. They have sales that they're trying to meet too. So we came from like a corporate background, like Goodwills and things are. You could be, I guess, going in, like, they're trying to make sales, I guess is what I'm getting at. So if they see you're buying something for $4, they're like, well, maybe I can mark it for $6. Will she still buy it at $6? Okay, I marked to $6. She's still buying it. Can I mark it to $8? They're going to find out what that limit is. If you stop buying a lot of those items, they might realize, like, their bottom line, okay, wait, now my sales are dropping again. I would rather make $5 off of this item and her buy them than not. Ultimately, you may also be going to the same place too many times too. So if you're going every single day or multiple times a day to the same place, they probably are paying attention because they recognize you. For us, they do recognize us at this point, and we're hitting it like once a week, but we haven't had anybody mark up things that we should. And you might just have to get a little bit better at, I guess, sourcing things that they don't know about. So, I mean, we have issues with, like, you know, they automatically mark up like Under Armour and Nike. Some stuff we run into in some of the stores is like $10 for a Nike shirt. Well, no, if we could get it for a couple dollars, maybe we'd pick it up. But you obviously have to consider that, and you just have to be okay with skipping those things if it doesn't work out.
Plus, if you start skipping them, the managers are going to see that all those things are ending up on a half off sale day anyways. So, I mean, it is what it is. You just adjust and you move on. We can't control what they're pricing stuff for. Somebody said the mission of Goodwill is for employment and not clothing poor. I actually made a video about that a long time ago because I had somebody comment on a YouTube video, and I made a video about that. So yeah, you're absolutely right. The mission of Goodwill is to employ people and is to reinvest money that they make from us purchasing clothes to reinvest back into the community. And if resellers are shopping at Goodwill, you're giving them more money. It is run like a business and not as a charity shop.
You may also remind them that Goodwill has an online store where they mark up a lot of their own items because they know that they're expensive. If you go to like the Goodwill store, most times they were pulling like Lululemon items and marking them for almost probably what we would be selling them for, sometimes even more. And they're doing the exact same thing as well. Ultimately, they want to make a lot of money as well. So if they say, well, it's just because of clothing the poor, no, ultimately they want them gone. They want to sell them. If they don't, then they're getting shipped to the bins, which as a last chance. So
guys, I think the rain stopped, so I think it might be a good time to go ahead and cut this off because we've got to go sourcing and Nikki probably doesn't want to be in the rain.
True.
So I think we've answered all the questions. Thank you guys so much for hopping on today. Thank you guys for the likes. I see we've got 89, 88 people watching and 51 thumbs up. That's awesome, guys. Thank you. Thank you to everyone who consistently gets on.
Yes,
I hope you guys are making it worth doing these twice a week because I was really worried that nobody would get on, but it's been great every single week and it's really nice reaching out to you. So everybody have a great day, and thank you guys so much for the super chats too.
Have a high profit week.